Well, hello there, Taurus. How are you? It is so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are doing your Saturn transit into Pisces reading. So this is really a reading that's good for the next 3 years. We're going to take a look first very quickly at where Saturn was in Aquarius, and during that time it was in your 10th house of career and public image. So we'll take a little quick look at the lesson that you may have learned through that and how that lesson can help you through this next 3-year transit. So for the next 3 years, from now, March 7th until February of 2026, it will be in your 11th house of friends, social groups, and networks. So you may experience that you have more obligations around your social networks, your friends, your colleagues, that type of thing. And you also may form new groups or alliances with new people. That is all part of this next 3-year transit. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to first take a look at the overall energies with the oracle cards, and then we're going to go to the tarot to get some more advice for you about how to navigate this Saturn transit. So, and if you're enjoying the content that I create, I'd really appreciate it if you would consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. I really do appreciate all of your support. Okay, so let's see what you have here. Horse Spirit, freedom is yours and reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly. Oh, I absolutely love that. You know, it is a little bit of, you know, your career and public image over the last 3 years, perhaps finding a sense of freedom, okay, in how you are kind of perceived by others or perceived by those people that you work with, or how you are perceived in public, okay? And if, you know, say you're retired or you're not working at this time, it can be that public image, you know, in your neighborhood, in your community, perhaps even in your family, depending on where that is. This is also, you know, helping you to move into an area of how are you showing up for the collective, you know, what areas, okay, are, as you move forward, what areas with your friends, your social groups, your networks, are you also helping the collective? How are you showing up for the collective? This could be through volunteering in your community, volunteering for certain groups that you really and truly feel aligned to. It could mean that because of that, you are also leaving behind some friends and some networks, okay? Because you're realizing that they're really not aligned with how you are feeling. Understanding that you're willing to put more time and energy into your friends sector. Whereas the last 3 years, you could have put a lot of time and energy into your career. Now you're understanding, okay, I want to accomplish more. I want to show up more for my friends or for the collective, for my community, all of that. All right, so we're going to move to the tarot. We're going to take a look at the lesson from the last 3 years, and then we'll take a look at what area with Saturn. It's all about accountability, responsibility, and karma. Okay, so we're going to take a look first at how in your friend sector you can have more structure, okay? This would be healthier boundaries. This would be, you know, perhaps having set days or times to see your friends, kind of bringing some structure to that. And then we're also going to take a look at how you can be more accountable with your relationships. And then finally, where this will what the outcome in the next 3 years. So let's first take a look at the last 3 years, your lesson from in your career and public image. So I feel like, you know, you have perhaps taken very much of a spiritual journey here, Taurus, walking away from something that was more 3D. You could have changed careers in the last 3 years. Interesting that we also had the pandemic, right? So you could have taken a journey of moving away from one kind of sector or career and showing yourself up in a different way especially with the pandemic, kind of like looking at the collective. How did that affect your career and public image? I love the energy here with the Eight of Cups, understanding that perhaps the career that you were in was not in alignment with who you truly are. This is very much, you know, we have the sacred temple and the sixth chakra, you know, listening to your intuition about what it is that you really want out of life, and recognizing that the career that you had was not in alignment with that. Understanding, okay, wait a minute. Yeah. And I think it is interesting because, you know, the last Saturn transit began in December 2019. Shortly thereafter, we had the pandemic really became an issue worldwide. So it could be that you saw something, I almost want to say rear its head during the pandemic in your career sector or your public image sector that you did not like, and you decided to go in a different way. Wow, powerful. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Yeah, I feel like for some of you, you may have actually started your own business. You may have felt tied to a certain career, felt worked with, you know, self-doubt or doubts about yourself in your career sector. You could have had a lot of obstacles or blocks in your career. It just wasn't taking off. The things that you tried were not working. And so it could have really played into your own set of self-confidence. You had to overcome that. And I love this. You had the Empress energy, really stepping into an energy of nurturing yourself, loving yourself, and creating something new for yourself. I feel like a lot of you created a new career for yourself or started your own business, you know, understanding, okay, the Page of Wands is I'm willing to learn something new. I'm inspired to go in a new direction. Both of these are energies of, yes, I want to go in a new direction, follow my heart. I'm inspired. I'm motivated to make this change, that it was something that was good for you. And it also helped you to overcome any self-doubt that you had about yourself. Really beautiful energy there. Okay, so for the next 3 years, let's shift to that as Saturn moves into your 11th house of friends and social networks. Where do you have to put more structure or systems into place in those groups of friends and social networks, the community, the collective as a whole? Okay, you have the Devil energy showing up, Capricorn energy, but a sense of what are you attached to in your friends sector or in your social sector? What are you attached to? And really kind of like looking at that. Is that in alignment with what I want for myself? Goddess of the Moon is beautiful, right? Because this is an energy of really kind of looking closely, okay, looking closely at your fears of why you may have some people that are toxic as friends, okay? So you may have some toxic friends or some energy around friends that bring in kind of like that vampire energy, you know, just looking at why am I attached to these people? What is it that I want to change? I want friends that are more optimistic about the future. You could be kind of, you could have a lot of friends that are kind of like, you know, I don't know, negative Nellies, you know, that type of thing. And it's kind of like, okay, no, wait a minute. I want friends that are more positive. I want friends that, you know, see the world can be a better place and are willing to move towards that, are willing to work towards that. So we feel like there is a sense of detaching from some of your friends or the groups that you participate in, right? So, you know, that could be even, you could have some hobbies and you have some social networks around those hobbies, like hiking or biking or traveling or something like that. And you're recognizing, wait a minute, I'm just not feeling it anymore. It doesn't mean they don't necessarily have to be toxic people, but you're understanding this connection really isn't helping me to get where it is that I want to go, because over the last 3 years, you have done a lot of work to put yourself in alignment with moving towards your 10 of Cups. Now what you're recognizing is, okay, you know, you just have some friends that you may have outgrown. And that's okay. Freedom is yours. You can move forward. So let's take a look. The Moon card is coming out again. Yeah. I feel like, unfortunately, there are some people that you have to say goodbye to. Recognizing, okay, I'm not in alignment with them. It is about building healthy boundaries, right? But it's also about recognizing I don't want this person to be my friend just because I want a friend. And Taurus, you're not like that. You're very independent. But, you know, it is kind of interesting because Saturn is moving into Pisces. This could even be the end of, you know, even like groups around, because Pisces is very much spirituality, that type of energy. People that don't philosophically or religiously or spirituality wise are in alignment with who you are. You're just kind of like, no, that just doesn't, I can't be around that anymore, right? So it could be that you're just saying, okay, I have to end that relationship. If you stay in the relationship, this is about building structure, healthy boundaries, you know, and saying, okay, you know, maybe you're just not in alignment politically or something like that. And you just say, okay, can we agree not to talk politics because we're not going to agree, right? I enjoy being around you because of these other things, but let's just not talk politics or whatever it is. And you're understanding, I'm not going to allow myself to sit and listen to somebody tell me their viewpoint. Okay, this isn't like a debate. This is not like somebody that may just spew on and on about their thinking. And you may have been holding back, not really expressing your thoughts. You could have just tried changing the subject or you know, leaving the conversation. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom or something like that, right? And it's kind of like, okay, no, I have to have a conversation. I have to kind of have some structure in this relationship. This could also be like friends that are consistently late or consistently cancel on you, right? Or consistently have opinions about how you are supposed to be showing up in the world. And you're just like, okay, no, either we're on the same page that we're not going to discuss some things, right? Or I'm ending those relationships. Really interesting because, you know, I feel like Capricorn had a little bit of that energy of walking on eggshells sometimes in relationships. I don't feel like you're really walking on eggshells. Okay, you're just, it's almost like you're escaping. You're kind of like, because, you know, this is Pisces energy, very much escapism. You're just escaping. You're leaving the conversation. You may say something and then you just leave the conversation because it's like, oh, I'm not really going to get into it. I feel like now you are a little bit willing to either set boundaries, right? Or have some structure around what do we discuss, what don't we discuss, you know? It's kind of, this could be another, I have a friend and she's not Taurus, but she loves to gossip. And I had to have a conversation about, I don't, I really don't like gossip. Okay. It's just not something that I really want to have in my life. So if you're sharing, you know, I really almost like had to define what gossip is and sharing pertinent information, you know, because we live in the same neighborhood. It is important to share information that if I could be helpful to someone, right? But just talking about someone is a little bit different, you know? So I feel like that's what you're doing. You're setting structure, you're setting rules and regulations. And I don't mean it really that way, but kind of, right? With your friends about how we engage engage in conversation. All right, so now let's take a look at where you can have more accountability. So this is the area of karma. Saturn is also about karma, but don't be fearful of that. Karma is really about being in alignment with how you truly feel and what you are really doing in life, right? And, you know, being accountable for how you show up and what you say and what you do. So let's take a look at this. Yeah, I feel like, you know, if you feel stuck with some relationships in your life, especially friends or social networks, right? You're feeling a little stuck for right now. It is about looking at the good, okay, in this relationship. Let's look at the good, and then let's move on from the bad. But also let's end relationships that really are not working. Having those conversations, right? Being accountable for matching, okay? If, you know, it is true. Some people pick up social cues. If, you know, we were having a conversation and I could tell that you were kind of agitated, and then all of a sudden you said you had to go to the bathroom, right? I would probably have the social cue of saying to myself, they don't want to talk about that, or I've hurt their feelings, or something like that, right? I would reflect, let's put it that way. So it is a little bit about reflecting how you are showing up with your friends, right? Are you showing up in your highest energy, right? And are you wanting to find victory in your relationships with them, seeing the best of them? And then also it's about helping them, okay, in a way to see the best in your relationship. You could be actually dealing with somebody that is kind of like a negative Nelly. I mean, that's kind of like, you know, that energy, and you're kind of like, okay, I can't be around this person anymore. You could be kind of sharing, okay, can we see the positive? Like they might say, oh my goodness, I can't believe blah, blah, blah. And you can say, well, can we see the positive, right? Being accountable for how you show up in the conversations or in your relationship. I also feel like there is this sense of, you know, the collective does come into this. How are you showing up on your social media? How are you showing up, you know, volunteering for, you know, for the causes that are important to you? You know, understanding that, you know, building good karma is also creating happiness for other people. Not fake happiness, of course, but, you know, helping other people, but with a loving heart. Really interesting, because I feel like, you know, you could be, okay, it is also, I'm looking at this, you know, forming new clubs. What new clubs could you form that based on things that are important to you? Because you're coming out of the sector of the public image, the career, coming out. I feel like also there is this sense that if you are in the business and you deal with people on a daily basis, like in sales or customer service or something like that, it is about showing up in your highest energy, okay, for those people, having compassion for what maybe they're going through, and yet at the same time setting healthy boundaries, not allowing them to speak to you in a rude way. You know, it's really it's all about building healthy boundaries in your relationships, especially in your friend relationships and social networks. So let's see what we have here. Yeah. Okay, I feel like you could have somewhat of a breakup with a friend. Okay, you could have some type of big disagreement. Okay, because you've been holding back. That's the thing that you're learning through this. You could have a couple of breakups, okay, with friends, because it's almost like Saturn is going to force you over the next 3 years, right? Saturn is going to force you to start building healthy boundaries in your friends and social networks. And when you're not doing that work, Saturn is such a taskmaster, right? then there's going to be some big hurdle that you're going to have to get over, something to heal. And I think it's going to take a little bit of courage to look at this relationship and see perhaps, okay, Taurus, how your lack of having a healthy boundary with this person or these people, right, has brought you to heartbreak, has brought you to the point of ending that relationship. Really, I feel too that you can then heal it and get back together, but not until you have that uncomfortable, okay, difficult conversation. This is really helping you, though, as far as how you can have healthy boundaries in all areas of your life. This, I feel like, is somebody that's important to you, a dear friend, right? Or a dear group of friends, where you have to really kind of like have those conversations. Really beautiful energy, because let's take a look at, I think you are moving, you're finding victory. You know, you have the Two of Wands and you have the Travel card. For some of you, I think you might be moving, literally moving. Like the community that you're living in, all of a sudden you realize, I'm not in alignment with these people. You may have these conversations or you know, and it's just like one obstacle after another. And then you're asking yourself, okay, I feel like you don't want to conform to the way that they think. So you're literally deciding to find victory and move. Like some of you could literally be moving, finding a whole brand new group of friends, deciding to go in a different direction, deciding that, okay, you know, and I think it's kind of, you could be sad because these could be people that have been in your life for some time. And yet at the same time, you're recognizing it's, you know, freedom is yours. You have choices. You may feel like, well, maybe I don't have choices for friends. And now what you're recognizing is, no, I do have choices. And I have to be true to myself. I feel like you have some friends that maybe are not in alignment with who you are. Yeah, I think you could have some friends, depending, you know, on perhaps your age or your situation. You could have some friends that partake in a lot of partying or drinking or something like that. It could be you have somewhat of a little bit of a blow up with your friend while there's drinking involved. Okay. There's almost this sense of, yeah, we're really it could be that you're really happy when you are drinking, right? Or it could be that the person or the people involved, okay, drink a lot more than you are wanting to drink. So it could have something to do with that. You're willing to go your own way, you know, understanding this is not who I am, or this is not what I want to do, you know, kind of. And it's not like I think you're trying to also help this other person or this other group to see perhaps, you know, that this shouldn't be the focus of your relationship or something like that, or the focus of life. But you're having to go your own way. It's almost like you have to shine the light for this group. Almost like you go your own way. Yeah, because you have the Hanged Man. You're getting a different perspective of this friend group over the next 3 years. Just a different perspective and understanding I'm not in alignment with these people, right? Wow, beautiful though. Because let's think about this. On the bottom, yeah, you have the Angel of Strength and you have victory. You know, understanding you are going to be victorious. You are going to find the new people to work, be friends with. You are going to find organizations or be more in tune with the collective because you are building healthy boundaries in your relationship. It could just be that, okay, I have to build these healthy boundaries. I have to be willing to stand up for what it is that I believe, but also and be aware of who I am allowing in my life, to, you know, spending time with. Who am I spending time with? Are they in alignment with what I'm doing in my life? Especially if you know, you're coming into more of a spiritual sense here after the last 3 years. This could be a group of friends that's really kind of like more concerned about the 3D, just having fun or something like that, and you're moving into an energy of we need to, or you're wanting to change things in the world, or you see a need for the collective and you want to go do more of that, right? And you thought this group would go with you, and they're not, okay? And that could be where the disconnect is. All right, let's pull a soul truth card for you. From whom can I release my judgment right now? Judgment closes our heart to truth and separates us from love. It binds us to our fear and holds us in shame. On whom are you placing judgment right now? Is it someone in your life? Is it yourself? Release the shackles, drop the expectations, and be grateful for what is. Yeah, I absolutely love that card, because I feel like that's what you're learning over the next 3 years, is that everybody's different. Everybody has a different perspective of the world, of, you know, of perhaps partying, of what is fun, of what we should be doing for the collective, you know, how you show up in the world, about your career. Everybody has a different perspective, right? And I think what you're learning over the next 3 years is that there's no judgment. I feel like you may feel like you're judged by your friends, your social network, if you don't celebrate with them. Okay, and it doesn't have to have something to do with drinking, but you don't get along, you don't agree with the way that they are handling their life or their viewpoints about life. And it's kind of like, yeah, the thing is that you're not judging them, but you also don't want them to judge you. Instead, you're saying, okay, I have to move forward. I want to go find my sunshine. I want to find my soul tribe. And I think that that's what you're doing over the next 3 years. You're finding your true soul tribe, the people that are in alignment with who you are and who you are becoming. Wow, really beautiful, Taurus. Really beautiful energy there. I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. And I really wish you so much love and light. I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.